Okay, we're live. Yay, I did it. Okay, everyone. Hello and welcome to the Guts to Fail Thursday, August 13th. And I just want to tell y'all that the person that is sitting to whatever this is my right, your left, is someone I consider to be a really great friend. We've known each other for over 7 years and we have never actually met. She lives in the great state of Alabama, right? Mm-hmm. And her team is all over the map. And Joy, her graphic girl, is in New Jersey, right? Virginia. Well, somewhere way over there. I never met her either, but she is also a friend. So Christine McDermott owns Great Oak Circle, which, going back a little bit, I want to tell you that when I wanted to start my business and I was a school teacher and I was sitting behind my desk, I called my mom on my break. I said, well, how do I find someone to make a website? Because if I want to start a business, I need hang tags for my furniture and business cards, and I need gift cards, and I need a website. Mm-hmm. She goes, well, maybe just go to a website you like and scroll to the bottom. So I did, and that's how I found Great Oak Circle. And it was all uphill from there. Because of me. Anyways, so I love this girl and she is amazing, and we would not be here if she hadn't taught me how to be creative over the internet and work through that process of frustration and stuff. Now I just trust her and say, you do it. And you should too. So welcome, Christine. I'm so glad you're here. Everyone say hi, and I want you to just tell me about how you tell us how you named your business. I like that story.
Okay.
How you started your business.
Absolutely. Thank you all for having me. I always wanted to do art. I didn't want to be a web designer from birth because that wasn't really a thing when I was born. But I knew I loved art and I always wanted to do art. I was the kid with all of the art supplies and all of the crafts. And Great Oak Circle is the street that I grew up on. It is the happy place in my life with my parents. And so it was the home of my art. Then there was this huge rock in our front yard, and it was like my chalk art creation every day. And the hole at the bottom of the street was my mud pie flower creation spot every day. And so that's just been my home for my art, whatever it has been. So when I started doing web design, that was kind of just the natural place for my online home, is to call it the same place that has meant so much to me.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that I know the reason why I resonated with that and have held on to it for so long is Brookylands Bungalow was my treehouse sign, and that's where I did all the exact same things.
Similar, yeah.
This is just our grown-up version of our childhood.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. So tell me about your education, your background, and when you discovered that your talents, your God-given talents, lent themselves nicely to doing this line of work. Like, when did that?
Yeah. When did it match up?
Yeah.
I did always love art. My degree is in interior design, which I did practice professionally. And I just realized, it wasn't quite for me. And when I went to school, this is 20 years ago when I was in college, web design was kind of becoming more of a thing, becoming more, mainstream. So after I graduated, I went back to an online school for web design, which was kind of what you could do at that point. So I knew it was something I did want to get formal education in. I didn't want to just be like some kind of renegade self-taught something. I wanted some education in how the internet worked. And so that's kind of how I developed that. I saw some websites, I started to see the creativity in web design, and I thought, hey, I think I'm kind of really enjoying this. And I kind of explored it more, took a few classes, was still working full time, explored it a little more, took a few more classes, and just kind of learned at night while working. And that's kind of how I developed that. Specifically, I think that I'm really good at design. I'm still really good at space planning, at being creative. That's always where like my best skill set has been. And, if you want to start getting all Enneagram-ish or personality-ish or whatever, I'm a helper always. I don't love to be on camera. What I'm doing right now is, pretty much. I think I'm a 2. Yeah. I don't do a lot of that, but I think I'm a 2.
Oh my gosh, I attract 2s.
So like being on this thing I'm doing right now is not my favorite because I don't really want to be on camera. Weird. So I've had no short amount of anxiety, like, oh gosh, I got to be on my camera. So I like to help and I like to be kind of in the background, and I love to see people succeed. And, so then it kind of became me being somebody's website designer who's kind of on their team, who sets up their business to succeed, who can encourage them and, push their skills out, has been very fulfilling. So even days that like the work is hard or I'm tired, it fulfills me creatively, and it fulfills me in my desire to help. And so I feel like it's been a good fit. I don't really think there's like only one career you could ever love, but like for me, it fills those two things. So it going on a decade in this Great Oak Circle rendition of web design. I've worked other places, but it's like I'm not tired of it, and I don't ever feel like, gosh, this is terrible today. I always enjoy it. So that's kind of how those things have come together for me, just the way the Lord created me to make something that's really fulfilling.
I love that. Okay, so I've written down several things.
Oh no, okay.
Strategy and design. I think that my brain always went to, oh, well, she makes graphics pretty and stuff. But no, you are really good at laying out the customer experience when they get there. And something, when you say space planning, you know where to put things so that they're simple and intuitive and they're easy for the clients to click. Right. I know that something that happened the very first time we ever worked together was all heavy iceberg on my side because I had never gone through, something that seemed like such a big deal, even though now I changed my website like the wind blows. Before I thought, this is it. It's got to be exactly what's in my brain.
Yeah.
Lots of layers and lots of buttons and lots of things going on. You wanted to do this, be like, okay, so tell me what I would guess that would be a very hard hurdle dealing with someone like me 7 years ago that doesn't really know, So what are your biggest hurdles now that you would want to tell a client, but sometimes it's difficult to tell them once they're your client? What could you do now that you have the freedom to say before they're your client?
Okay. Well, I think in all design, so this would be interior design, web design, all the design, the way it looks and the way it functions, just the build out of anything. And these are principles I learned in interior design school, like how important the function of a space is and the use of space and how things have to be designed in a certain way to work. And the doors need to swing this way, and this needs to function this way so that a human can enter an environment and intuitively enjoy it. And that then a space can really better your life, your experience. And so a web design space is the same thing. And in our human brain, we think, well, maybe, more complicated, 35 more throw pillows, you can translate that to the website, is going to somehow make it better. More is better. more is better. But really, like, the best designed spaces use space well. They function really well all the time for that person's needs. They get you where you want to go. You have a place to store plates and pans, and so it's the same. And so there's not a need to overcomplicate something. And in a website, similar to in a house, you have a kitchen and you have an entry and you have this, like in a web design, there are certain things that go in places where you can find them and people can interact with your website. But people try to be really cute and they try to be really clever and they end up being confusing. And what happens with your website and sales is cute and clever leads to confusion, which leads to I'm leaving because I don't know how to hire you. So I try to avoid all of that stuff, which could make you think, oh, this website's kind of simple, but you forget that really your website at this day and age is your volume driver. It's your hardest worker in business. So I think it's really important that it works, which is why my tagline is websites that work. And it's supposed to be they work as in they drive volume, they actually earn a paycheck, and they work as in technically they work, and they work as in you can actually navigate and get around them and have a user experience that feels really good.
Yes. Okay. So 2 things come to mind on that. When I was at the Frisco Mercantile and had a little booth space, which was when I met you, and you never saw the space, but you're like, probably, why does this girl need all this for a 5x10? But whatever. One thing that I noticed after years of being there is I could walk around and I could tell the newbie furniture painters because the ones that pulled out all the stops and did all the tricks on one piece, and it was really overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then the people that had very understated pieces that were simple and classic and beautiful and clean sold more. And I think that 2 things. You are such an expert because you realize that simplicity is better. And sometimes newbies they just got out of school and they learned all the tricks and they want to put them all plug in and the counters and all the things all over. And then it just looks like a mess, right? And so the people who have more simplistic websites or that are, clean and simple and intuitive are actually done by the better experts. The ones that have all the things all over them, overcomplicate, that I forced you to do on my first one is not the one you want to go with. And the third thing is, we just talked about this yesterday, the more crap you have on your website, when you inevitably change your mind, evolve or grow or add or subtract services, the more difficult it is to change and the more money it is to change because it's an hourly rate to make those changes.
Right.
So you want things to be able to shift, easily.
Right.
Also. So I think all that's really great to hit. Now, when, what is the hardest part for you? When you're creating what is your process like for onboarding a new client? How about that?
Yeah.
When you're learning their business, you have to learn it inside and out. What is that process like?
All the processes, I would say, is something that's developed over a decade. When I first started, I didn't know heads from tails. I didn't take any business classes, which I think was a pretty big fail on my part. It just wasn't even like, now to take a business class or learn how to do something. Anything. People are taking these classes, like even the classes that you teach. A decade ago, that really wasn't a thing. So I had to kind of learn all these processes over the time. And then I finally started taking classes, which, was genius. But at this point, when we do a new build, they get a simple Word document from me, which is back to the I could make an online form where you save your progress and you type, but what works for us is a Word document. And they can just type and save, like it's, again, like don't overcomplicate a process that should be intuitive and easy. So they write a lot, have them answer a lot of questions about their brand and their life and why they're here and who they're trying to help. And every single time they're surprised to see when I start putting content together and writing things and speaking to their client, and they're like, wow, that's like, you nailed it. And I never would have thought of that. I never would have. And I think, gosh, I mean, all that content is in what you wrote, but like, you're so close to your own process. You can answer these questions for me, but you can't do this yourself. You're so close to it. Like I have the same problem with my website. So kind of getting into their brains and understanding why they're doing what they're doing and who their client is helps me then produce the website that is a combination of who they are personally and who their brand is and who they're trying to market to, which I think is always a super confusing point for people. Even something as basic as color, they say, well, I only ever wear black and white. My whole house is black and white, but I feel like my website should be pink, and they get very twisted up in color. And so we kind of walk through a whole process that lets people get all that out of their system. And then they end up being really happy with somebody else choosing and putting together the brand for them that they really chose themselves. They have this, mushy garage sale. We've started calling it the garage sale.
Mushy garage sale.
To kind of, pull things out. Joy was like, this looks like a garage sale. I'm like, it does. This is a garage sale. And so we're kind of able to pull something out and present something that's very much them and very much their client and their brand. And so a lot of it comes with writing. So, if people are trying to start planning that, a lot of it comes with, you could start journaling, kind of start figuring out who you are and who you're trying to market to. And that's a good place to start.
Okay. So recently I have, you guys, just so you know, I've hired Christine to help me with my launch of a class that I'm doing on September 15th. Mm-hmm. And I had actually come up with, I've contacted a lot of other people because I know Christine, I am her client. So why do I ever need to go to her website to see that she offered everything that I needed, but I didn't know that those had been added because I had not visited her website in like 7 years. So I just Marco Polo her, and I was not connecting with these other people. I liked them. I liked what they had to say, but it was a little daunting, and I knew they didn't know me. And I knew that I was going to have to get to know someone all over again or teach them what I'm about. Mm-hmm. And that's confusing. And so I contacted you. So what are your marketing efforts like? Because I know from me, I just call you and say, I need this. Like, I'm just an ongoing 7-year client. I'll probably be here 45 years here until one of us dies. That's what's going to happen. And so
I don't know what
until it just is over. And then, but how do you reach new clients, or do you even need to do that now that you're 10 years in?
Well, I used to really, really try to beat the social media drum. I did. I don't love social media. You're great at social media, but you're different. Because again, I don't really want to post a picture of myself. That is a mental ascent for me to I'm going to post this stuff. I just don't love it. So I do maintain an Instagram account, and I try to put new work on there, words from clients. I do that because I think it's important. People do look at social media. And I have been better at that. My dog is fighting her way out of the bedroom. I have been better at that at certain times, but honestly, what most of my marketing efforts look like are caring well for the people that have hired me. I have a really high client retention. I spend all of the money that I would spend on marketing. I spend it on gifts for clients. So I think I probably bought you coffee before over.
And you give me so many things. You buy me things from other clients, from your other clients. You're like, I'm going to send this lotion out to Brooklyn.
From another client. Yeah. I sent you a present when your oldest son graduated high school.
Y'all, let me tell you. That's why I say she's a friend. And now I know that as part of her marketing budget. However, it's so important.
But you
love me. I love you.
Yeah, it's genuine. It's not like I'm going to spend this $50 so that she'll hire me again. It's just
caring for people.
It is. And it's just part of my personality. Like, I'm a gift giver anyway, and I love that. And I was funneling all my money into like an Instagram ads expert. And then I thought, this just doesn't feel really authentic to me and my brand. I'm just going to quit doing this. I'm going to post on social media, but I'm going to start funneling my money towards what I love. And on your phone, you can buy, like, I guess I have the Starbucks app on my phone. And so you can buy coffee quickly and text it, which I have all my clients' phone numbers. And so often it's somebody whose like website has crashed, or their son has just graduated, or I know personally they're not having a great day, or, it's the pandemic. So I'll just shoot them coffee and send them a note of encouragement. And it's not like a hire me again. It's more like, I'm just super grateful because it gives me this life that I love. And it does, as you know, you receive that gift from somebody and you're like, oh gosh, like
my whole day. Not only that, but I was like, how in the hell did she do that? I got on my phone and then I went to my mastermind members and I sent all them coffee and I said, you go slay your day. So I paid it forward because I was like, I know how that made me feel, and it was incredible. And what you just said is so important. And the reason why I said marketing budget is I just spoke to someone right before this call. They were calling about a bingo fundraiser. And I explained to them why I do the fundraisers. Mm-hmm. I can do corporate events and not split my profits at all. Mm-hmm. I do the fundraisers because it expands my exposure without me having to market the event. And I give them 50% of the profits. So the 50% of the profits that I give back through bingo fundraisers is really my marketing budget.
Yeah.
But I'm also being able to like cut checks to people, and it feels so good. I suck at gift giving. So when you gave me that little $5 idea, I was like, that's something I can do.
Perfect.
Anyways, caring, and then the other thing.
Oh, 1 second. This dog is going to tear the house down.
Get him out. Let's see.
So sorry.
You're fine.
13. She's deaf and she will not be ignored.
Sounds like me. Caring well for the people that have hired you. Mm-hmm. So many times people spend so much money, time, and effort on getting new clients. Mm-hmm. They just really nurtured the relationships they already have. Their business would explode.
Yeah. I mean, I get referrals. The amount of referrals that I get, I don't ever post and say like, hey, we're currently accepting clients. I don't ever do that, ever. Clients just continue to pop into my inbox. Mm-hmm. And it's always, the email always starts, hey, Christine, I got your name from fill in the blank every single time. And it's because we do a really good job. We do the business correct. We're not the cheapest at all. You could for sure hire somebody for way cheaper, but we do it right. We answer the phone. We respond to the emails. We take care of people. And then More come.
Yeah, you take care of people well. I mean, that word well, you do not half-heartedly do it. And most of the time, what you send or when you send it is timing that no one else would have thought to send them, like Jaden graduating, or the I had when you sent me coffee. And I just it's so key. And when you say authenticity, you don't have to do it all the same way. And talking about my launch, just because there's all these steps,
right,
doesn't mean we can't still be authentically me and you feel good about what we're doing,
Right.
So be authentic to yourself.
Right. I mean, we have sent flowers to a family member's funeral before from us.
That is so
like that we've been working with that client and they've lost somebody really special to them. And so then, it's just whatever, you just care for people well. I don't know. That's just what's worked for us. And it feels really good. And the business continues to just be blessed by it.
So, okay, this is maybe not that I really like ending on that, but I've got this other thing. People don't read. That's just, you can apply that to anything. Your website, even going to your website, that would apply to me. I sent you like a 12-minute Marco Polo and you're like, she would just go to my website. I mean, you didn't say that, but I was thinking that's probably what she said. How do you overcome we are definitely different. People they know what I'm thinking or how I feel immediately because of my face. How do you continuously overcome people that are not doing the work that's required of them on their end? How do you be so kind through that?
Well, I read this book. Oh gosh, I think it might have been in James Clear's Atomic Habits book, but I am not totally sure. I'm not sure. But it was a story about the slowest hiker. And it talks about like if you've got a Boy Scout troop and some are fast and some are moderate and some are slow, and you're trying to get them to the campsite, and you've got the ones that are continually running ahead, and then you got the ones that you cannot keep up. And it talks about taking those kids' backpacks and like putting their stuff in the faster kids' backpacks and like what you do to get rid of the slowest hiker to keep everything moving. And we identify those and we try to get rid of them. And that's one way that projects continue to move. So in some ways, it's everybody has some of the same ones. Writing their own content. I used to require that you come with your own content. And then I realized we're going to launch a website never, because nobody can do this. This has to be off the table. And so now we handle that. So that got rid of a slow hiker in the business. And then we started launching sites faster. And sometimes we will identify it in a client, like they don't check email. We are no longer emailing them. Or they don't, whatever. We have to remind them every 2 days. So we identify those parts for each person, which, everybody has them. And then that helps us get projects through.
Wow. I'm going to write a post about this slow hiker thing.
You'll need to confirm that story.
That's okay. I'm just going to
say it for you. I'll find it.
And then I'm going to tag you.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So real quick, last minute, what's the most recent awesome book that you would recommend that we read?
It would probably be that one. James
Atomic
Habits. Yeah. It's called Atomic Habits. It's on all the bestseller lists. It's super easy to find. And I think I've read it and listened to it. And he also has a newsletter that's really good. I think it goes out Thursdays. I think I could be wrong, but it's a real short, to the point newsletter. And I think the quote that I gave you that's on the header of this call maybe is one of his. He talks a lot about habits and time management and I think it's really been beneficial for me in business and just in general life. And so for sure recommend.
So, okay, in this final steps, how would we get a hold of you? Just tell everyone how to get a hold of you. What's the best way? And if you have anything upcoming, like a class or anything, tell us about that so that we can go check that out and sign up.
Absolutely. So it's greatoakcircle.com, or you can just email me, Christine@greatoakcircle.com. And I can do all kinds of website sizes and builds, and I also do like one-off consulting hours if you've got something but don't have the budget for a full build and you just need help organizing and figuring out what to do next. And then one thing that clients ask for a lot is search engine optimization, and that's getting your website to rank higher in Google. It also involves taking a little more full advantage of blog post and social media post, how to make it work to actually convert sales on your site. So I used to do a lot of consults with clients on that, and I still do, but I also developed a class that's 9 lessons, and I can send you the link to it. It's not something that I promote or am launching. It's just something that I reserve for people I know and clients to be able to take advantage of. And it's just a self-paced 12-lesson class. And it takes the marketing efforts you're already doing. So that would be Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, writing blogs, being on a podcast, any of that, and teaches you how to do it in a way that helps your website rank. So that also can kind of seem unimportant, but like probably 8 or 9 years ago, I did this blog post on homemade natural makeup, which is ridiculous. It's not related to what I do at all, but whatever. So I did it, and then somebody pinned it. It was early in Pinterest, and I didn't pin it because that's not something you did at that point, pinning your own blog posts. It was whatever. Right. And it got hundreds of thousands of pins. I have no idea.
That's crazy.
But the cool thing about it is that it drove those images from my blog so high up in Google image search that I started getting a ton of traffic from search engines, and it just kind of bolstered the entire business up a level. And then an esthetician saw that post, went to my website, read it, saw what I did, contacted me, and I can't count the number of esthetician websites I've done since then. She was like the first one that broke the entire industry open for me that I've done. I mean, we probably do 15 a year. So anyway, so you just never know how blog posts and those little marketing efforts, especially when you're new and you're like trying to break into something, and SEO plays a huge portion in that, and people forget about it because it's not Instagram. And so this class just kind of helps you understand what all that is from there are a couple of techie videos in case you want to geek out, but a lot of it is really simple things that you can do to make all the things you're already doing better for Google and kind of give you a new audience to market to. Okay.
Wow. I'm so excited. All right. Well, will you send me that link in email? This will go post to the group. I'm going to edit the post for this with the link to the SEO class. I liken SEO to having this beautiful, amazing house, but putting it so far into the forest that no one will ever see it. And you have to, your SEO gets it out of that forest and puts it right on the highway.
Yep.
So, and in your class gives you homework and tips and tricks and how to do it, and you do this, then you go to lesson 2 and then you do this. So that's really awesome. So thank you so much. You did great.
I did it. It's over. It's totally over.
We're over. We're done. So I'm going to end this broadcast, and then you and I will just talk for a second right after. Thank you, everyone. Someone just said Christine's the best. Hi, beautiful girls. And that this is a great idea, gifts of encouragement. Okay. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next Thursday on the Guts to Fail.